New beginnings, a milestone for the agriculture sector. Private sector interest and investment in agriculture grew heavily, especially after the holding of the National Agriculture Fair in February 2021. The fair highlighted Liberian agricultural productivity and while outlining the challenges faced by producers and agro-businesses. It also presented the abundant opportunity in agriculture and agro-businesses. I can proudly report to you that the number of commercial farms and agro-businesses more than significantly increased from 77 in 2021 to 164 in 2022. While there are now leadership of agriculture machinery complete with spare parts and workshop. This is a positive development for the efforts to mechanize Liberian farm production. And it is a natural next step to the government of Liberia's own efforts through the Ministry of Agriculture to provide tools, equipment, seeds, seedlings to farmers, farming communities, and cooperatives. The interventions we made as a government have led to increased acres planted in most crops, but especially so for basic food like rice, cassava, oil palm, and vegetables. As the country moves into harvest season towards the end of the year, bumper crops are reaching rural and urban markets due to improvement in the logistics and supporting infrastructure that we have provided for agriculture. Dedicated warehouses for cocoa producers were constructed and or rehabilitated in Nima, Lofa, and Bon County, while processing plants for palm oil were built in Grand Bassel, Bon and Lofa counties. Rice processing plants in Lofa County were finalized in time to process the massive harvest coming in from expanded farm. The Ministry of Agriculture Development and the Ministry of Agriculture Development negotiated and signed, along with the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, key new projects valued at over 73 million United States dollars. The World Bank Rural Economy Transformation Project, RETRAP, which is meant to expand the ongoing smallholder transformation and agribusinesses revitalization project, was developed for a total value of 55 million United States dollars. The RETRAP will oversee the paving of the road from Tabeta in Nima County to Toastan in Grand Gila County, completing a vital portion of the Ganta-Harper Highway that is already ongoing. This major piece of road construction will, by next year, see the paving of the road going into neighboring Côte d'Ivoire and will facilitate the free movement of goods, passengers, and services in the sub-region. In addition, the RETRAP will drive resources into the rubber, cassava, poultry, and pigeonage sector to complete other projects in rice, oil palm, and vegetable. Mr. Speaker, access to finance for our farmers was a key focus during the period in review. the Rural Community Financing Project implemented in collaboration with the Central Bank of Liberia and the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. Having been impacted by COVID-19 induced lockdown and the closure of several banks in rural areas, was successful in getting 11 rural community financing institutions more operational. A key part of the transformation of Liberian agriculture involved the engagement with the private sector. In 2021, the Nimba Rubber Corporation began exporting processed rubber from Liberia, including processing rubber from private farms for export markets. This represents a fundamental shift towards industrializing Liberia's oldest commercial agriculture sector. Also, in 2021, the Atlantic Cocoa Corporation exported the first container of certified organic cocoa from Liberia, while Liberia's cocoa production lags behind production giants in the region. Liberia cocoa continued to win awards and prizes in international competition for its exceptional quality. My administration is therefore promoting and working to provide the enabling environment for high quality production of cash and food crops. The consumer packaged goods industry in Liberia is growing exponentially, especially with the establishment and growth of light industry. In this regard, the award-winning J-Palm Corporation with its kernel fresh product made from Liberian palm kernel stands out as an example of Liberian entrepreneurship excellence. Several companies and agro-processors in the cassava sector, arguably Liberia's largest agriculture sector, also stand out for their outstanding supply of gari and fufu flow to national food, reserved for the redistribution during the COVID-19 emergency. Mr. Speaker, I want to inform you that the maize gari is my supper every day. Mr. Speaker, we will continue to increase our effort to ensure value addition to our agricultural product, provide for access to our farmers, and enhance support to expand mechanized farming throughout the country. Mr. Speaker, providing quality education to our future leaders has remained a paramount priority of my administration. I am pleased to report that we have made great strides in improving literacy and other learning outcomes in the educational sector, with milestone achievement in the area of access, quality, and system transformation. These achievements and interventions include the development of continuous learning platforms and smart classrooms throughout the country, and the introduction of a distance learning framework along with virtual laboratories. I am also pleased to report that we have made the largest single investment in senior secondary school since the 1970s to address the huge infrastructure deficit in the educational sector. A 47 million US dollars grant received from the World Bank with a wide scope of intervention, including new constructions, rehabilitations, equipping, training, and textbooks. Development has greatly contributed to the huge push we are making to fix the mess in the educational system. I'm also pleased to report on the following deliverables in education: renovations and rehabilitation of all 156 public senior secondary schools throughout the country are ongoing. Simultaneously. As of June 2022, it is expected that all renovation work will have been completed and dedication shall be planned in phases, preferably by county. Mr. Speaker, honor the Arise project, and in partnership with the World Bank, we will begin the construction of 3 model high school complexes in the first quarter of this year. Now that design and procurement requirements have been completed, each of the 3 institutions has been designed to accommodate 1,500 senior high school students. My government will replicate this in other schools districts to provide a better learning environment for our children. Mr. Speaker, available school statistics have it that the total number of senior secondary school in the country is 752 as of academic 2020-2021, of which the government owns only 156. To reduce that gap, the Arise project shall fund the construction of 25 new secondary schools situated in 25 schools districts that are currently without secondary school. Under this project, we are also funding the training of 35 university instructors out of the country, procuring a digital library, revising textbooks for students, and upgrading curriculum. Additionally, in an effort to address the gaps in girls' education, we will provide scholarship financial support for 3,000 girls transitioning from 9th grade in 4 counties considered as having the highest rate of girls drop out from high school. As there are no tuition in public school, sponsorship shall cover all registration fees, uniform, textbooks, and annual cash allowance. For Liberia to develop, we must develop the minds of our youth. We must train our teachers so that they themselves will be able to train the minds of our youth. During the period under review, curriculum training was provided to 1,250 teachers and caregivers who have since returned to their places of assignment in Sino, Maryland, Grand Crew, Riverside, River G, and Bombay. Major strides and inroads have also been made in the technical and vocational education and training. The TVET projects include a major rehabilitations and construction of training center in 6 of the 15 counties of Liberia. Additionally, an initial number of 76 TVET teachers have been sent abroad for training to support TVET institutions in Liberia upon their return. A number of them will be master trainers with assignment at the Booker Washington Institute, which is being scaled up to a TVET teacher training institution for the future. The total number of teachers for this purpose will be 120, of which 76 being hired and are in training, while the remainder 44 are being recruited for subsequent training. Mr. Speaker, the largest single spender for education is the government. Mr. Speaker, the largest single spender for education is the government. For the budget period 2020-2021, the government appropriated US 79.4 million US out of a budget of 570.1 million US dollars, which amount to a 14% share of the national budget going to education. The total appropriation, which covered all education expenditure for the year, was sub-allocated such that basic, secondary, and early childhood subdivision of education received 41.8 million, or 52.64% of our budget. Under the 2022 national budget, we intend to increase spending in education so that all the interventions we are making can lead to us transforming the sector from mess to best. Mr. Speaker and members of the 54th Legislature, my stance in ensuring the rights and protection of all cannot be overemphasized. As a he for she champion, I remain committed to the dignity of upholding human rights and safeguarding our most vulnerable population, our women, girls, and children. As a government, one of our priorities is to reduce the incidence of sexual and gender-based violence by 30% by 2023 through the provisions of appropriate support services and access to justice system. I am pleased to report that significant progress is being made to make this a reality. With the emergency of the COVID-19, where most women and girls were confined in their homes, there was a step increase in the reporting of sexual and gender-based violence cases due to the heightened awareness that we conducted in communities and at the grassroots level. However, we saw a reduction in sexual and gender-based violence cases in December of 2021. Compared to the reports of 2020 December, we have been able to raise awareness among communities about the referral system, the government anti-sexual and gender-based violence call center, and can ensure its functionality. Traditional and religious leaders are also beefing up the efforts to change the story and narratives of survivors and victims, as well as supporting prevention efforts of sexual and gender-based violence. While we all may be aware that prevention is better than cure. We will continue to work with our UN counterparts, our NGOs, and civil society organizations to increase effort in preventing sexual and gender-based violence. On the other hand, we are also concerned about our response to sexual and gender-based violence, which prompted the setting up of the Presidential Task Force of Sexual and Gender-Based Violence through the implementation of the Government of Liberia and Partners Anti-Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Roadmap 2020-2022. My government has been able to procure DNA machines to aid in evidence gathering of related sexual and gender-based violence cases. This will bring relief and justice to both survivors and alleged perpetrators during the legal proceeding of sexual and gender-based violence cases at the level of the court. We have made interventions in rehabilitations of safe homes, a one-stop center, including in River G and Grand Cape County, as well as other safe spaces for children. My government will continue to ensure that no perpetrator shall go unpunished. Mr. Speaker, while we strive to meet our national target of ensuring that 5,000 extremely poor and full insecure households, 13,000 individual beneficiaries receive cash transfers by 2023. The Liberian Social Safety Net project is in full swing and making significant impact. Special thanks to our collaborations with the World Bank and the USAID. Based on the economic crisis posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, we expanded the beneficiary pool with support from the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office and the World Bank. An additional 15,000 households within urban Mosurado County were enrolled and benefited, marking a greater impact in the lives of 18,300 beneficiaries in 3 counties, with 82% of the beneficiaries being female and 27% being male. Phase 2 of the program has been launched to add an additional 6,500 households by the end of March 2022 to establish the basic building blocks for social protection and an equitable and objective process to the distribution of our limited resources. The Liberian Household Social Registry under the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection is well on its way with 233,000 households profiled across 5 counties: Bomi, Bong, Nimba, Maryland, and Mosurado. Enrollment continues across the country, and I would like to encourage all households to participate. Mr. Speaker, our government remains cognizant of mainstreaming gender in the formulations of policies and programs that drive the development of Liberia. With support from the UN counterparts, we have developed for the first time the country's gender equality profile. It provides in-depth analysis that will enhance the understanding of the differences in the conditions, needs, participation rates, access to resources, and property rights, development and planning, and control of asset, decision-making, power between girls, women, boys, and men in their assigned gender roles. Mr. Speaker, members of the 54th Legislature, during the period under review, the government and its partners implemented several programs intended to improve the lives of the country's youth. This is a sector that is central to every program meant to empower ordinary people. The young people of Liberia have already gone through quite a lot, while many have advanced to the next stage of their lives. Others need our push. Almost the many programs we have initiated to improve living conditions for young people is the Youth Entrepreneurship and Empowerment Program, YEP, a $2.4 million initiative funded by the African Development Bank to get graduating students work ready. We also are implementing the Entrepreneurship Development Program, the Liberia Employment and Entrepreneurship Program, and the recently launched Recovery of Economic Activities for Liberia Informal Sector Employment, which will provide short-term employment opportunity to a much wider demographic, including young people. The government also wholly sponsors a national youth literacy program and a national cadet program. The Monrovia Vocational Training Center, MVTC, continues to provide vocational and technical skills to youth of diverse backgrounds. The center offers a variety of training courses, including heavy-duty and auto mechanic, welding and fabrications, auto electricity and electricity, electronics, refrigeration and air conditioning, masonry, plumbing, architectural drafting, carpentry, and graphic arts. The European Union has approved additional 26 million euros to cover the cost of establishing state-of-the-art TVET school in the rest of the 8 counties that do not have them. This is in fulfillment of our vision to have TVET institutions in all 15 counties. These initiatives are targeted at all Liberian youth, regardless of which county they may reside in. Thousands have already benefited over the ensuing period. The government will dedicate more resources in order to tackle the growing menace of disadvantaged youth, otherwise referred to as Zogos. As we are focused on the youth, let me highlight an activity that keeps them physically and mentally strong: sports. Despite the challenges the country's sports program has faced, it has been improving years, with the county meet being the major highlight. Once again, I would like to congratulate Nima County for clinching this year's soccer category. My congratulations also go to all other winners. The tournament has brought Liberians together regardless of our differences. It is my hope that the momentum can be sustained while we ensure the national soccer team, the Lone Star, can build on this energy. It would be remiss of me if I did not also take this opportunity to personally congratulate the volleyball and the basketball team from Grenville County. The volleyball and the basketball team from Grenville County for their historical victory in these categories in the 2022 National County Meet. They made history in two ways. Firstly, they won the first ever volleyball category that was included in the county meet. And secondly, they are the first county to ever win two categories in the county meet. Congratulations once again. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I regret to inform you that in spite of our effort to upgrade the team, we still did not qualify for two of the main soccer events in the world, the World Cup and the African Cup of Nations. But we remain committed to doing more. We will dedicate more resources and scout the best talent for the team in the coming year. Madam Vice President, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President pro tempore, and members of the 54th Legislature, may I now respectfully beg your kind indulgence to permit me to use this opportunity to speak directly to the Liberian people, wherever they may reside, beyond the walls of this chamber, both within our borders and out in the diaspora. I thank you. My fellow citizens, in 2017, I came to you promising the following: to give you power, to improve our economy, to empower our youth, and to sustain the peace. Against this backdrop, you elected me as the president of Africa's first independent country, Liberia. On the day of my inauguration, you and I and Liberia made history together. For the first time in many decades, on January 22nd, 2018, our democracy witnessed a smooth transfer of power from one elected government to another, and from one ruling political party to another political party in opposition. We also witnessed the inauguration of Liberia's first ever female vice president, Her Excellency Dr. Joy Howard Taylor. Also, another historic first was the venue itself, the Samuel K. Doe Sports Stadium, where the Liberian inauguration ceremony was held outdoors in the open air for the very first time in our history. And for the SKG Stadium itself, it hosted the largest ever audience since its construction. The move was electric and ecstatic, peaceful and harmonious. Mr. Speaker, I have played in many stadiums. I have been applauded by many fans during the days of my professional football career. But nothing compares to that day at the SKG Stadium, I will live with those memories for the rest of my life. The people, the stadium, and the oath, and my promises. And then, Mr. Speaker, the cheering and the dancing and the celebration came to an end. And we had to begin the work of the people and commence the serious business of governance. Our first task was to formalize my promises into a national development plan that would guide and lead us to fulfill them. We developed that plan, now known as the Propo Agenda for Prosperity and Development. And 4 years ago, we began a journey to raise our country to a new level of prosperity and development. The goals and objectives of the PAPD are to give power to our people through better education and healthcare, create stronger possibility for our young people, especially for the girls and women, to transform our economy and to continue to play critical roles in electricity infrastructure, to protect our peace, and to strengthen national security in the wake of the departure of the United Nations peacekeeping troops, to intensify the fight against corruption, and to improve the quality of our governance, among others. I am proud and pleased to inform you today, Mr. Speaker, that 4 years from where we started, this Propo agenda remains actively on course. My fellow citizens, it has not been all smooth sailing. And indeed, we never expected it to be. We were challenged to seek high office because of the serious and seemingly entrenched nature of the governance and socio-economic problems of this country that were very obvious to everyone. And we were further challenged by the opportunity that you are giving us to address and eventually solve them. Surely, we faced some major challenges in the last 4 years, but as a government and as a people, we have emerged stronger. The challenges may have tried to derail and distract us, but they did not prevent us from continuing the work of the national development. Today, 4 years on, we continue to protect the peace and security of our people, to build more roads, transform electricity, build new hospitals, and improve the quality of care, transform the challenging situation in education, build more markets for our market women around the country, and work towards improving governance and accountability for public resources. While the challenges are many, our recent macroeconomic crisis and the current COVID-19 crisis have taught us that when we are united, we can solve any problem. I am of the firm conviction that no development challenge is too big to solve when a people combine their energies, talents, and resources in solving them. We came together as a people to end a deadly civil war and to overcome its effects. We came together to solve Ebola. We came together to stabilize our recent macroeconomic problems. And we are together fighting COVID-19. We can do and achieve anything once we set our minds to it. That is who we are as Liberians. So let us not let politics divide us to the extent of destroying our country. In this bicentennial year, let us invoke the spirit of national unity when commemorating the first 200 years of our nation's founding. No matter how painful and difficult those first 200 years may have been, our past may be bittersweet, but with unity and oneness of purpose, our present and our future can be sweeter. My fellow citizens, as we go from this place today, let us continue to walk in unity and peace. I want to thank you wholeheartedly and sincerely for maintaining the peace. Let us continue to do so, for without peace, there can be no development. In the words of Nelson Mandela, and I quote, "Peace is the greatest weapon for development that any person can have. It is so easy to break down and destroy. The heroes are those who make peace and build." Unquote. My fellow Liberians, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Almighty God has endowed us and blessed the Liberian people with a beautiful country. Let us embrace each other with love and let peace reign throughout our land. From the heights of Wologizi to the peak of Manimba, let peace reign. From the slopes of Putu Mountain to the top of Mangibi, let peace reign. From the golden sunset of River G to the savannah of Grand Crew, let peace reign. From the sunset beaches of Grand Bassel to the golden beaches of Riverses, let peace reign. From Cape Palmas to Cape Mount, let peace reign. From the belly forest of Bapolu to the Sapo forest of Sano, let peace reign. From the blue lake of Bomi to the Patawi Falls of Bomi, let peace reign. And from the Providence Island of Mosorado, let peace reign. God bless Liberia. God bless you all. I thank you.
Sarah, stay there. That's the national anthem of Liberia. There, and then the president giving his annual message, and has been another one to hear, another one to digest, another one to really simplify, and that brings to the end of the president's annual address to the legislature. Setting the stage, the president addressed the legislature and later asked for permission to address Liberians as whole. And the president is now being escorted uh, by the um, cabinet and, of course, being followed by the vice president of the Republic of Liberia and the Supreme Court bench there as he's being surrounded by the Supreme Court uh, judges of the Supreme Court bench, and he and his wife, the First Lady, Manneh Weah, are now walking as you see. Um, they are now being escorted, and the section being chaired uh, by Vocational. And the section extended, that means that the return of the joint chamber is where they are going along with the president, and some networking and interactions with the legislators will be there at the return of the Capitol building. There you see the president waving. So people or invitees who have come to witness this all important occasion. There they're waving, and you can hear the crowd there. Um, the crowd there makes up a lot of women who are yelling and after the wave of the president. And the president, as you are seeing, is being escorted out along with security apparatus there, and they are going to the returner of the chamber, that's the legislature, and he will be joined by the House of Representatives and the House of Senate to have networking interactions. And there he meets some of his cabinet ministers and some. There you also see Minister of Justice there, and along with the some officers or some ministers rather of the executive branch of government, and he's taking a walk outside to the returner, and like we said, the returner is where he's going to meet up with the legislators. That's the Senate and the House of Representatives, and they are going there to meet and talk about issues. And invitees who have come to witness these all important occasions are now making their way to the returner, where the president and the legislators will be in having close discussion, another onward discussion that will be done there. And just to bring you through of some major issues the president stressed out, there are a couple of issues the president looked at in terms of giving his scorecard to the legislature. He's talking about the road infrastructure, and as per his message, road infrastructure is the major priority issues that his government considers, and he has reported to the legislature. And also look at education as a matter of fact, looking at some high schools being built, and look at other issues, the health facilities, look at the county tour. What was the outcome of this county tour, those projects that have been made, and also made reference of laws that are to be passed. And there are a couple of communications that he sent to the legislators for enactment or for statutory mandate. And as a matter of fact, those those mandate, legislative mandates or legislative laws are in the hands of the legislators to pass for enactment. It means stress on a law that has to do with in a statement and a code. And the speaker, we continue on the speaker for. And the session is now being adjourned.
Mr. Speaker and Presiding Officer, Madam Vice President, Mr. President Pro Tempore, and members of the Senate, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and members of the House of Representatives. I, Senator Augustine, as Chair of Sino County, move, if a second can be obtained, that after the assembly of the joint session of this legislature, in order to certify Article 58 of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, having been concluded, that this joint fifth section of the 54th legislature be adjourned. It be seconded by Lukia County.
And Honorable Governor McConaughey will second the motion. Fine.
Honorable
By
Speaker
Senator Cheer.
of the 54th National Legislature, Honorable Councilor J. Fonati Kofa, Deputy Speaker, 54th National Legislature, distinguished colleagues, Dawan Tuan Likia, representative of District Number 6, Lima County, do hereby second the motion to adjourn this special section of the 54th legislature.
And it's been seconded by Honorable Glenn of Nima County, District 6. And
Distinguished colleagues, with the motion for adjournment in place, this joint sitting is hereby adjourned and is hereby so ordered. Thank you.
the fifth section of the joint chamber comes to an end and was chaired by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Buffer Chambers. And that brings us close to this entire joint section by the legislature, and this is the fifth joint legislation, which is a constitutional mandate. And of course, after addressing the legislature will have to adjourn the section, and after adjourning, it closes the joint section of the legislature. So, folks, if you are there, been watching wherever you've been and however you've been watching KMTV, that's what exactly we'll be able to give out to you. And the legislators, as you are viewing, are now leaving the joint chamber here, and they will be joined. And there you see Agriculture Minister Johnny Cooper walking out there. You also see Cabinet Minister, as we see Youth and Sports Minister D. Soga Wilson, and a host of other ministers on cabinet, along with legislators, are now walking out of the joint chamber to meet up with the president at the rotunda, where other interactions and issues will be discussed. We will also see the speaker being accompanied by the Secretary General of the Liberian Senate, being along with other representatives. We see Bon County representative, female representative there too, walking out, and it's been accompanied by members of the Sergeant at Arms here at the legislature. We also see hosts of other cabinet ministers and special invitees now leaving the joint chamber, and we also see representative from Grand Bazaar there leaving the chamber as well. We see Coquette there from Nima County also walking out of the chamber to join the president in the rotunda of the Capitol building. And we see there some conversation with the Mines and Energy Minister. There you also see Minister of Justice there walking out, Councilor Musa Dean, and you see one county lawmaker there moving out. So, folks, that's this has been a splendid broadcast coming to you from the Capitol building, the fifth section, joint section of the legislature, where the president just addressed the legislature and the citizenry as well. And we want to take a leave now, but we want to firstly thank you for always following and watching KMTV as we remain Liberia the #1 online television. And my name is Bizarre Totiama Sherman, and thanks to the CEO, Ronald Jackson, and the rest of the other guys, Mark Freeman and Imaya Dojana. We've been here doing all we can to give you the best, and want to say thanks to all of our diasporan correspondents who were with us during the start of the broadcast, giving you some analysis, political analysis, and issues that were expected from the president. Once again, want to say thanks, and we will be with you.
Well, what kind of message did people sending me again? Oh, who said my SIM not register? I was one of the first people them to buy my SIM from them when they came to Liberia.
I see. So that all I still only want to challenge time. Now you must do it using your citizen ID card. After registration, there is a special number you can call.
Yeah. They really make it easier for us, oh.
Yes, we are all required to register our SIM cards by using our national ID cards. But that's not all. Orange Liberia provides a very easy way out for you to self-check your status. Dial *5434# to validate your SIM registration free of charge. We take pride in bringing you closer to what matters the most.